When IBM personal computer owners look for good software, where can they turn? To IBM for programs that help you keep up with modern times. Business programs, entertainment, productivity, education, and more. The variety you want with the quality you expect in the growing library of IBM personal computer software. A well-balanced selection at a store near you.
Have you ever gone hunting with a bowl and spoon? Where you can with Libby Zoodles. Elephants, lions, zebras, giraffes. Zoodles are animal noodles. Come on, tell all your friends. Tell the whole bunch.
I just had the hippopotamus for lunch.
Say, have you ever gone hunting with a bowl and spoon? Get hunting with Libby Zoodles. Libby Zoodles, smothered in delicious cheese and tomato sauce. Zoodles.
Presenting Ronald McDonald and McChatterlong.
Hamburgers, filet of fish, cheeseburgers, french fries, icy drinks, thick shakes, sundaes, apple pies. Hamburgers, filet of fish,
cheeseburgers, french fries,
icy drinks, thick shakes, sundaes, apple pies. Hamburgers, filet of fish, cheeseburgers, french fries, icy drinks, thick shakes, sundaes, apple pies.
And you can sing a song you can taste
with Ronald
and keep a smile on that happy face.
Apple pie,
and it's the song of the taste.
French fries, ice
you'll always find in one place. There's so much fun for you today.
Hamburgers, filet of fish, cheeseburgers, french fries, icy drinks, thick shakes, sundaes, apple pie. At McDonald's!
Do you need a change? If your job is getting you down, Mervors offers the training you need. For your passport to the future, call this toll-free number today.
I did it.
And you can do it too.
There's heart in this land, it's there in all we do. That's why hands across this country reach for the blue.
At Labatt's, we've had a single goal since 1847, and that's to brew Canada's best tasting beer. That's why we brew Labatt's Blue the Pilsner way, so you can enjoy that clean, true taste.
That's why you call for your blue. It's time to call for the blue.
The Smurfs will be back after these messages.
Now, back to the Smurfs.
Hi, my name's Gary Nonan from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know Royal City Chrysler will treat you royally. They believe in price and selection.
Royal City Chrysler, we know you're gonna like our style. So come on in, look around, see the very best deals in town. Just come on in, we'll treat you royally at Royal City Chrysler now.
If you've told the world you'd never drive a van or a station wagon, but you still need something that'll move 7 people, I can't wait to show you the new Mazda MPV. Did you see it? Come on, guys. Once more. Show them again. Come on.
An elegant affair. A European-style chocolate mint. A unique shape. An honest mistake. Ovation chocolate mint sticks, so delicious you'll fall in love with them.
Chocolate on the outside, bubbles in the middle. It's so good it makes you wanna Aero, pure milk chocolate all the way in. It's so good it makes you wanna millions of bubbles in every cup. They tickle your tongue and they make you wanna Aero, bubbles on bubbles stacked in a pile. Tastes so good it makes you wanna
Introducing
Macintosh. It does all the things you'd expect a business computer to do. It does a lot of things you wouldn't expect a business computer to do. And it does some things no other business computer has ever done before. Of course, to do all this, you will have to learn to do this. Macintosh from Apple.
At Speedy Muffler King, time is money. Speedy will fix your muffler problems in 30 minutes, or will pay you $5 for every extra 15 minutes you wait. So if you sign your estimate, say, at 20 after 3, you will be done by 10 to 4. Yeah, 1:30 with, no, 2 o'clock at 6 bells, right after lunch.
Hey, when I've got brake problems, I don't fool around. So I went to the top gun.
The brake specialists at Midas. Specially trained on brakes, so they'll
do the job right. I mean, you only get one chance on brakes.
Trust them to the top guns, with over 200 shops from coast to coast.
And the Midas brake guarantee. There are a lot of good reasons to take your brakes to Midas, but these are the 4 best reasons I have.
Nobody tops the top guns. Nobody.
I'm the Kit Kat Kid. I'm gonna give you guys a break. I'll split this Kit Kat between you. Kit Kat goes far. It's the 4-in-1 bar. It's our favorite chocolate treat. Crispy center, pure milk chocolate. Kit Kat's really fun to eat. I'm the Kit Kat Kid. Give me a break. I'm the Kit Kat Kid. Give me a break. Kids love Kit Kat bars. Give us a break. Kit Kat.
Giving a Care Bear is a whole new way of sharing your feelings.
Come to Tenderheart Bear. Grandma's so proud.
Because a Care Bear's tummy shows just what you're feeling in your heart.
Friend Bear?
You're my best friend, Mom.
Make any day really special for someone you care about.
Bedtime, Bear. I miss you, Daddy.
Give a soft, cuddly Care Bear and share your special feelings today.
Each sold separately.
If you only cared about yourself, then I guess you might drink and drive.
It wouldn't be smart, but I guess it'd be your choice. But there's more than you to think about. It's people out there. Maybe little kids. Maybe even a friend.
So if you drive, you don't drink. Just makes sense.
It's not like you need to drink to have a good time. All you need for that are your friends.
Play it smart.
Tired of finding the powder you use to clean your dishes on your dishes? Get Liquid Palmolive Automatic. It pours easily and rinses so clean, you'll want to throw a party. Break away from powders with Palmolive Automatic in New Lemon, too.
Now, I'm moving out of here, cutting up for some good times, a long, long way from here. Me and the boys in our 50s. Me and the boys in our beer.
Smooth, easy drinking 50.
Moving.
What a beer to share.
Moving.
Mom, the most important shower of my life and you switch deodorant soaps?
New Shield is better. It's extra strength.
I'm about to pop the question. Now then.
Shield fights odor better so you'll feel cleaner.
Clinical tests prove Shield fights odor better than the leading deodorant soap.
I do feel cleaner. I do. Now if only Joan will say I do.
Oh, how can she resist?
New Shield fights odor better so you'll feel cleaner.
I feel cleaner than ever before.
Now we can really relax. While we're away, our savings are managing themselves, and we're earning even more interest. We switched all our savings and short-term investments to Bank of Montreal's new investment savings account. That's the right one. Worry-free convenience, more interest, and we can take out cash whenever we want, for emergencies, or for when a great deal like this trip comes along. This is the life.
Switch to Bank of Montreal's new investment savings account, the right one to earn more without tying up your money.
The chicken's in the hen house, the eggs are in the nest. 'Cause every time it's able, a chicken sends the best. Put an egg in water or slip it in a pan. Shake it in a shaker or have an egg with ham. Put an egg in salad or make it into toast. Any way you slice them, eggs are just the most. Have an egg more often because whichever egg you take, you make a chicken happy when you
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope everybody had a fantastic Independence Day. Oh, man, I love saying independence. I love it. Seriously. I take that shit very seriously, if you hadn't noticed. But yeah, man. I had a great time. I stayed in the house. I spent it alone. I like my solitude from time to time. Uh and but I did see fireworks. uh you can put that together yourself. I had a great time. Uh I watched this movie called Ant-Man and Wasp. Uh uh Quantum Mania. Let's just say that movie is not designed for the story at all. I had a great time. Uh, so anyway, um, I hope everybody had a great Independence Day, man. Seriously, I love this country, or at least not necessarily the state that it's in, but not to give you a full-on history lesson here, but our forefathers, as unevolved as they were in so many ways, they have a vision as for how someone should live, uh, without anyone telling them what to do, without anyone telling them how to live, without someone charging you money for simply living. Uh, Things like that. So these are all great ideas, but it requires, people are like, oh, the government, the government, the government. Well, the power was given to the people well over 200 years ago. So it's just the people haven't done much with it. So one of these days, hopefully, we'll just start to look at ourselves and see what we can do individually. But anyway, there's a few updates. One of the cases that I've been talking about, being the Chad Doerman case. He had a hearing today. I don't think anything actually happened. He was officially indicted on, I believe it was 21 charges, and he the defense they filed a motion for a gag order. They tried to do a Brian Koberger type thing here, and tried to file a motion for a gag order and keep the press out. But since the motion was filed, the press was not allowed in the courtroom today. But the gag order is denied, so I'm sure this trial will be streamed to some degree. We'll at least be getting minute-to-minute updates from press that are in the gallery, at the very least, I'm sure. But I'm very interested to see how this case turns out. I know how it's going to turn out. I'm just curious as to what kind of defense this guy thinks he's going to use. But now, there's that, and I mean, like I said, there's really not a whole lot. That's why I didn't want to do a whole stream on the update, because I'd just be kind of repeating the case over and over, which there's no need to do that. We'll just, like I said, if there's any updates, I'll fill you guys in on the updates, and then on when the trial starts, we'll be covering that. But I start I start looking into other things here and there, and there's a little girl missing named Winter Smith, and out of Detroit, and I haven't been following it closely, but I have been kind of keeping tabs on it here and there. I'm gonna go ahead and read an article on that case real quick, just so we can familiarize ourselves a little bit with the case. I'm not going to go into a deep dive on it just yet, but I will just kind of go down a summary here, just so some of us have some context. So, a 26-year-old Detroit resident was arraigned from his hospital bed Wednesday and charged with beating and sexually assaulting his ex-girlfriend before police say he kidnapped the victim's 2-year-old daughter. As dozens of police officers searched Lansing area freeways for clues to the whereabouts of Winter Cole Smith, Ingham County authorities charged Rashad Trice with first-degree criminal sexual conduct, home invasion, aggravated domestic violence, and other crimes. So apparently he raped and beat his ex-girlfriend. This guy's a real winner. Trice, who is being held without bond, is scheduled for an 8:30 a.m. July 13th probable cause conference and an 8:30 a.m. July 20th preliminary hearing before 54A District Court Judge Kristen Simmons. These charges arrive from the brutal physical and sexual assault that took place at an apartment on Bejardin Drive on July 2nd, 2023. Ingham County Prosecutor John DeWayne said in a statement Wednesday. The investigation as to any additional charges related to the disappearance of Winter Cole Smith is ongoing. Trice was charged as a violent habitual fourth offender, according to Michigan Department of Corrections records. He is on probation from an August 2021 incident in which he pled guilty to 5 felonies, including assaulting, resisting a police officer, and felonious assault. He's scheduled to remain on probation for these crimes until January, state records show. Winter was reported missing from her Lansing apartment at about 11:30 p.m. Sunday after police say her mother was sexually assaulted and stabbed by Trice. The alleged victim managed to stab Trice in the lower abdomen during the attack. Good girl. Way to go. Fucking fought back. I love it. Lansing Police Chief Ellery Soseby said, Winter's 1-year-old brother was in the apartment during the assault, although police say Trice left the boy behind and took Winter with him, stealing his ex-girlfriend's white 2013 Chevy Impala and driving it towards Metro Detroit. An Amber Alert was issued, and police throughout Michigan were told to be on the lookout for the vehicle. Trice was arrested in St. Clair Shores early Monday after he allegedly tried to slam the Impala into a St. Clair Shores police cruiser and grab an East Point officer's gun. Officers used a taser on Trice, arrested him, and took him to a hospital to recover from his injuries, police said. With Trice in custody, Soseby and dozens of police officers continued to search for the missing girl. The FBI on Tuesday announced a $25,000 reward for tips to help find Winter, who has braided shoulder-length hair and was last seen wearing a white T-shirt with rainbows on it. Multiple law enforcement agencies are involved in the investigation, including the FBI, the Michigan State Police. Volunteers and canine search and rescue teams donned safety vests and joined Lansing Police Wednesday on the search for Winter along Interstate 96 eastbound between Lansing and Okemos. Soseby and Wednesday's search focused on the highways in the Lansing area. We've sent out 2 groups of 40 cops with volunteers from departments throughout Ingham County and other areas, the chief said. We'll be looking on the highways for areas that might have missed during the searches. Soseby said Trice is also expected to face charges in the Detroit area. Macomb County prosecutor Pete Lucido says He was expecting warrant requests seeking charges against Trice stemming from his alleged actions leading up to his arrest. At 4:45 a.m. Monday, about 5 hours after Trice allegedly left the Lansing apartment with St. Clair Shores police officers on patrol spotted the suspect's car driving on Harper near 9 Mile Road. The St. Clair Shores police officer attempted a traffic stop, police said in a statement. The suspect fled from police, leading them on a short pursuit which ended near Little Mac and 10 Mile. The suspect came to a stop after colliding with another St. Clair Shores police vehicle. East Point police officers who regularly monitor police radio traffic from nearby communities heard a call go out for help and joined in the chase, said East Point Police Lieutenant Alex Holish. During the chase, the suspect collided with a St. Clair Shores car, Holish said. Our officers assisted with trying to arrest the suspect, who refused to get out of his car. The officers had to break the window to try to get him out. They didn't know if he was armed or not at that point. So they had him at gunpoint. He grabbed our officer's gun, but the officer was able to retain the weapon. A St. Clair Shores officer used his taser on the subject, and he was taken into custody. St. Clair Shores police said in their release that one of the officers received medical treatment for injuries sustained in the collision, but was not hospitalized. The suspect also sustained injuries from the collision and was transported to a local hospital for treatment, the release said. Lucido said he expects to bring charges against Trice within a few days for multiple counts, including his attempt to disarm a police officer and fleeing and eluding. But medically, I can't arraign him in the hospital, so we have to wait until he's well enough. Then we can arraign him, and then can take him back to Ingham County to face whatever charges they'll bring. Authorities also urge anyone with information about Winter Cole Smith's whereabouts to call the FBI tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI or go to tipsfbi.gov. And that's it. Wow. I gotta say, man, I mean, is he conscious? If he's conscious, then, there's no reason why he wouldn't be giving the whereabouts of this little girl. This is absolutely crazy. This is just absolutely crazy. So now I wish that I had an optimistic outlook on this. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not. I'm definitely not leaning towards, logically speaking, considering this man's character and considering the things that we are clearly now aware that he is capable of. I hope that little girl's okay. But an old friend of ours decided to cover this case. And I started listening to it, and I listened to about, about 2 or 3 minutes of it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going live. So let's just get into this. All right.
All right, guys, and that is true. So if you guys are in the area or know anybody in the area of Lansing, Michigan, in that route, we're going to be covering this again. Like I said, I'm physically opening a file to monitor this case and to make sure that we are requesting everything we can.
And by file and physically, she means like she's going to print out She's going to print the shit out. You notice that she's back in her office, but she took the printer out from the background. It's not there anymore. So, but you know, she's still going to print the shit out. She's going to have like a one of those fan files or whatever the fuck you call them.
And so we are going to be diving into this case. You guys are going to know information about this case as it becomes available to you. You know, that's really all I can do at this moment.
And which is just watch the news and read an article, which is exactly what I just did, because you're not going to get anything any faster than a legitimate news source. So your audience could just watch the news.
Moment. So we'll be going through all of everything that we need. And I've already got, I don't have the mom's name. If anybody has the mother's name, please let me know what that is.
Okay. All right. Now, that's really irritating because let me see if I can find this. Because I know I watched it. So yeah, there was a really sad clip and I forgot I watched it. That just reminded me that I did. But the thing is, the mom, okay, the mom is not one for being on camera. She did do an interview with a news source, and she was very soft-spoken, and she was very soft-spoken, and she was just, you could tell, was just broken. And we already have, and really it's all we have. We already have an idea of what this poor woman has gone through. And this is really important to think about, folks, because we have now an idea of what this poor woman has gone through. We weren't there for the situation. We cannot relive in our minds what this woman went through. And to top it all off, I mean, basically what happened here, if you follow the Gannon Stout case, if you followed that case, what happened here was an actual event that Letitia made up as a lie. So something as sick and crazy, except it was her ex-boyfriend, not some random guy that she gave the garage coat to. But this man, an ex, brutalized this woman sexually, physically, and in every other possible way that you can think of, I can imagine. And she's bruised, she's broken on the inside and out. And there's a reason why her name has not been released to the public. And that reason is what I just described to you, because this poor woman has been through enough. If she's asking to remain anonymous, then anybody with ethics, you know, like a legitimate media source, anyone with ethics would respect this. Any victim, anyone who claims to be a victim of domestic violence or of sexual assault would respect this woman's wishes.
So anything else? And we have one more. Now, this one is a little, I'm putting it up because I think it needs to be heard. I think it needs to be heard. Many of you know I don't get into the whole conversation of, you know, the ethnicity of these cases. I don't get into that. I believe we're in 2023 that what? You know,
what the fuck?
At this point, we should be treating everybody equally and the same. But I myself have experienced this very thing, especially with our Kathleen Moore case. Many of you know I was with Kathleen Moore covering her case in Pasco County a couple years ago, and I had to get a little more vocal to get media attention on the case. So
now, literally the only reason she's bringing up Kathleen Moore, literally the only reason, is because Kathleen Moore is also African American. That there's no other reason. She has officially turned this into a race issue. No one mentioned race. Nobody talking about this fucking case except Betty has brought up race or ethnicity, as she put it. Keep that in mind, because nobody else has done this. Why are you bringing, I mean, what does Kathleen Moore have anything to do with this case?
Because she was a Black woman. And this was on the heels of Gabby Petito. And it's like, you know, if we're having a conversation of domestic battery, we need to have that conversation of domestic battery. Get a little more vocal to get media attention on the case. So, because she was a Black woman. And this was on the heels of Gabby Petito. And it's like, you know, if we're having a conversation of domestic battery, we need to have that conversation of domestic battery. We don't need on the case. So, because she was a Black woman. And there was media attention on the case. So, because she was a Black woman. And this was on the heels of Gabby Petito. And it's like, you know, if we're having a conversation of domestic battery, we need to have that conversation of domestic battery. We don't need.
Now, you know that all she talked about was Gabby Petito. Like, I mean, she showed up to the laundry's house. What the fuck is she trying to pull here? This is all nothing but some sort of campaign to convince people that she's not racist, which makes her fucking racist, in my opinion, because she's the only one talking about racism. She's the only one bringing up ethnicity here.
Need to have a conversation about domestic battery when it's a blonde hair, blue-eyed white girl named Gabby Petito, but all of a sudden domestic battery disappears when we have a Black woman that has a criminal past and her.
Bro, riddle me this, Batman. Like, why? Why do you know about Winter, and why do you know about Kathleen Moore? Do you know why? I could tell you why. Do you know why? Because the media covered it. The media fucking covered it, dude. Like, everybody knows about this stuff. If you're following true crime, you know about this. There's at least 3 different YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to that has covered this case. At least 3. And guess what? None of them happen to be African American. I don't understand why you have the audacity to sit up here and sell this to us, because it makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. You're all of a sudden now you're an advocate for an ethnic diversity in true crime. What?
And her name is Kathleen Moore, and gets zero coverage of the case. I personally believe we are past.
Bro, let me see something. Let me just see something. Dude. Okay, these are local news stations. But look at all this that pops up on YouTube. Just on YouTube. This is all Winter Cole Smith right here. All Winter Smith. If I wanted to cover this case, I could do it right now. I could do a whole coverage of it and just sum everything up for everybody right now. It would probably take about 35 minutes. My point being is everyone's talking about this. Look at this. Everyone's talking about it. So ridiculous, man. And she's sitting here trying to sell everybody that nobody's talking about this case because Winter Cole Smith is African American. Yet everyone's talking about it. So she's sitting here trying to like convince her audience that she's the only one on YouTube that's not racist. This is projection at its finest, folks. This is projection at its finest. Everyone's talking about this case, and she's up here trying to act like she's the only one talking about it. And the reason why nobody else is talking about it is because she's not blonde hair and blue-eyed.
A lot of what we once lived through. Is it perfect? No. Are there still people out there that think differently, that just don't have that same moral compass? Yes, there are. And we're not going to change those people. People that have hate in their heart are going to have hate in their heart. But I do want to vocalize my concern.
Is that right, Proud Boy?
About the issues that surround the fact of the cases we cover. Many people blame the media for failing to bring these cases forward, right? They blame the media and say that it's the media that chooses not to cover these cases of these Black and Indigenous people. It's not.
Motherfucker.
The first people that need to be blamed for this problem is the audience. Because I tell you.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
How are you going to that makes absolutely no sense. So the audience, right? I mean, because I get what she's trying to get at. It just doesn't apply. I say this shit all the time. There's a supply and demand type situation here. You know, like there's a supply and demand type situation, more or less. You know, people want you to talk about something, then you talk about it. You know what I mean? Like that happens a lot. There's a lot of times where I'll get emails and people will say, "Are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about that?" You know, I understand that. So, you know, you want to give your audience what they're asking for if you can, you know, but at the same time, you know, like you don't necessarily you have to have a basis of your own shit. You know, you have to have a basis of your own convictions and your own beliefs and the things that you're passionate about. You know, like I
tell you, I will run cases all day long. It doesn't really matter to me what case that we run, as long as we're advocating for truth and transparency, advocating for these victims. I don't care what victims we advocate for, but my audience has to be here for the avocation, right? I can't be here talking about a case and advocating for a victim when nobody is showing up here to this channel to preview it.
Wow, bro. Wow. Seriously? Okay. Guys, both of us, okay, both Betty and I streamed the Letitia Stout trial, right? The difference, though, is I followed that case from the beginning. Okay? I simply streamed that trial for myself and for the people that are in my audience that, of course, are interested and have just come along. But there are people in my audience who have been there from the beginning when I was covering that case, and they know how passionate I was about it. And I barely had anyone watching. Ickadmel, Gray Hughes, Chasing Truth, all of these channels had way more viewers than I did streaming it. Now, if I was doing this for the reasons that she just admitted to doing it for, I would have been like, well, what's the point? What's the point of streaming it when, you know, there's all these other channels that are getting more views than I am? No, man, I did that because I'm passionate about the case, and there are people in my audience that have been with me since back then, and they know how passionate I am about it, and they're just as passionate as I am. And we wanted to watch that together because we've been talking about it. When it happens, we're going to stream this and we're going to watch it together. That's what that was about. It wasn't about getting views. It was just about that. I mean, so it's crazy that here she is, and I mean, she doesn't even try to deny it. She's sitting here saying, well, if nobody's watching, what the fuck am I going to cover it for? Basically, translation, if I'm not going to get the views on it, what the fuck am I going to cover it for?
What's the point? So I have to cover cases that my audience is interested in. So I'm hoping that my audience...
You know what you do? You know what you do, Betty? And there's no way that you're gonna get this. There's no way that you're gonna relate. How about you make your audience interested? How about you present your audience with a case and make them interested in it? Because right now you're just admitting that I'm just going to talk about what everyone else is talking about. It's not about I can use my platform to bring more attention to something. I could use my platform to bring more attention to something. I have an audience that may not be aware of something, and I can actually make them aware of it. I could spread awareness on this issue. But she has no concept of this because she's in it just for her. She's in it just for the views. Whatever she can benefit from it. If she doesn't benefit from it more than her audience does, she's not interested. And that's exactly what she's saying here.
Is okay with all, and I think my audience is okay with all types of cases.
You are a stupid
But there's
asshole.
many people out there. Maybe it's mainstream media. Maybe mainstream media is tipping the scale. I don't know. But there clearly is an issue. I want you guys to watch it. Have an open mind. We don't discuss this topic very often. It's kind of taboo on, social media. I don't care. I don't care. I'll talk about taboo conversations. I'll talk about the stuff people, the PC culture won't talk about. I'll talk about it. I don't care. I don't care. At the end of the day, these are conversations we need to have. Do I say it perfectly? No, of course not. Of course not. I'm not a perfect person, right? I'm not a perfect person. I don't intend to be a perfect person. And I don't strive, I strive to be a better person. I don't strive to be a perfect person because perfection doesn't exist in my world. It doesn't exist in my world. But I do want you guys to have an open mind. And this person really did. I was, balancing whether I wanted to have this conversation, this point of conversation or not. But I think we need to have it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. So again, have an open mind and listen to what she's saying. Don't be offended by what she's saying. Listen to it, because I need my audience to hear what she's saying, because in part I believe part of it. I'm not prescribing to everything she's saying, but there are some things that are absolutely without a doubt a factual statement. So just
wow. Unbelievable.
You're a magnificent cunt.
sit back and again have an open mind and listen to what they are truly saying. And I agree in part.
After Alexis and Elizabeth disappeared, the late PBS reporter Gwen Ifill coined the term missing white woman syndrome.
Oh my
usually
God,
blonde,
bro.
Attractive white women get a lot more media attention than Black women and girls who go missing. I can name several white women who have.
Dude, it is just fucking, it's like gold, but infuriating. You know what it's like, dude, to like review Betty and see shit like this? It's like finding a pile of gold, but you gotta fucking carry it. It's fucking heavy, dude. You know what I mean? Like the fact that she has the audacity to actually cover this. I mean, we're talking about white power Betty here, folks. Like, she was sitting there at a table throwing the white power sign up with people saying white power, throwing the white power sign up. And here she is right now trying to say that no one's talking about this case but her, and she's saying that it's because of the race issue. Unreal.
Who have gone missing in the past 20 years. Natalie Holloway, Lacey Peterson, Gabby Petito, they're all over the news. And how many missing Black women or girls can we name who are missing? All the research that I've seen and all the experts that I've talked to have said that white girls are
this. I'm not even going to get into it, but okay, there's some truth to this, but it's not the way they're painting it out to be. I mean, she's not even, you can kind of tell this person's agenda by what she's saying, because, or what she's not saying, because she's not mentioning boys or men who go missing, and those get covered all the time. Boys who get murdered or go missing, this happens. I mean, and YouTube talks about it. You know what I mean? Like it YouTubers are talking about it. People are making Facebook groups about these things, but she's not mentioning any of this. She's got her agenda of missing white girl syndrome. And there's no, this, in my opinion, I think that this point of view really minimizes the true crime community, because there are plenty of really good creators and who have a large following who cover all kinds of different cases. Some put out videos daily on different cases and with racial diversity. You know, this is just not, this isn't entirely accurate. It's like she's taking a small truth and turning it into this massive problem that I do not believe is the problem that she's making it out to be. But what she's saying here, what Betty's saying here, it's not the media, it's the audience. So basically what she's saying is people generally don't want to hear about a little black girl missing. It's not that the media doesn't cover it. The media simply doesn't cover it because you don't want to know about it. Because you think about it, is what she's implying. And no, that's just, this is the worst attempt at virtue signaling I've ever seen, because the source of it is unbelievably hypocritical. Like, if she's trying to sell this point, you know, if she's trying to sell this point, she's the worst one to try to sell it.
Looked at as helpless and as victims and as people in need of protection, whereas Black girls are adultified and looked at as
what?
Responsible for their own disappearance.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree that people look.
Of course not. Only a fucking idiot would say, would take truth to that. That's fucking asinine. I mean, is anybody looking at Winter Cole Smith right now as an adult and responsible for her own disappearance? What the fuck is this lady talking about? And so, I mean, all right, like, at least Betty even caught that, because that was the most full of shit statement that I've ever heard in my life.
Look at them and say they're responsible for, like, we're talking about Winter Smith and her mother. I don't think either one of them were responsible for that because of the color of their skin. Let's, you know, so there are some things, again, I agree with in this article, and I disagree.
God damn it, Betty, you always do this. Ugh. The second I fucking start to defend you, you fuck it up. The second I start to defend you, you fuck it up. This is incredible to me.
I don't think either one of them were responsible for that because of the color of their skin. I don't think either one of them were responsible for that because of the color of their skin.
They weren't responsible for it at all. She's like, the way she worded that, maybe she didn't mean it that way, but the way she worded that was like, yeah, they're responsible, but it's not because they were black. No, neither one of them are responsible. They're both victims. She's a rape victim and the mother of a kidnapped child. That child is a kidnapped victim. What are you talking about? Neither one of them are responsible. I don't think they're responsible because of the color of their skin. What?
You know, so there are some things, again, I agree with in this article, and I disagree with in this article. I think her perception is wrong. I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that, you know, at least for me, I don't feel the reason why I cover cases of white women is because I feel like they're helpless. I mean, I am a white woman, and trust me,
No, you just said that the reason why you cover white women cases is because your audience wants you to cover it. Because your audience is talking about it. You said that 5 minutes ago. It has nothing to do with any other reason. Like everything that you say as far as why you cover a case moving forward after that means dick all. Now, all that matters, all that we know is that you said that the only reason that you cover cases is because your audience is talking about them. So what is this? An attempt to get your audience to start asking you to cover cases with more ethnic diversity? I mean, are you blaming your audience? Is this your way of gaslighting and blaming your audience for the cases you cover and why you haven't been covering more cases with ethnic diversity?
Don't feel helpless. There are times that I worry. There are times that I get scared and nervous being single and living alone and things that go on, which many of you know about because you've watched it for the last 2 years. So it's not like that. But I do believe when push comes to shove and I have to defend myself, I think I'm equipped to defend myself to the best of my ability. I don't feel like a victim, so to speak, when it comes to violence. I have been violated my entire life and I've had to fight my entire life. So I don't know if I agree with that statement, is all I'm saying.
Appearances in some way. One theory is that the
So wait a second. I got to hear that one more time.
A victim, so to speak, when it comes to violence. I have been violated my entire life and I've had to fight my entire life. So I don't.
How is it you're the only one who ever gets charged, though, when that happens, right? How is it you're the only one that's ever been charged? How is it that, because she doubles down, excuse me. She doubles down and she says, after, like, I gave her the benefit of the doubt and I was like, well, maybe she didn't even mean it like that. You know, I don't think that they're victims because they're black, but she doubles down. And then she goes, I've been beaten and violated my whole life. I've had to fight my whole life and I'm no victim. So again, she doubles down and then she basically is implying that this little girl and her mother are somehow at fault for what happened to them.
No, if I agree with that statement, is all I'm saying.
Appearances in some way.
That's not all you're saying.
One theory is that the police are the ones who put out the news releases and give reporters information so that when they don't tell reporters about missing Black children or adults, the reporters don't know, the reporters don't cover it. And another issue that has come up is...
And I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either. I don't believe that it's law enforcement. So I don't believe it's law enforcement that's not providing, because we all get the same press releases, okay? It has this. I disagree with that statement because I've been in this business for some time. And even prior to this, I was getting press releases for the political stuff because I needed to be aware of all the political stuff that was going on because I was a political advocate and activist. And so a lot of the things that I was doing politically, kind of the same processes I was doing over there, actually are duplicated over here in true crime. You know, the processes of FOIA requests, you know, all the stuff that I was doing politically, I'm doing here for true crime. So the transition from politics to true crime, as far as, you know, like your operating procedures are fairly standard. I mean, there's a lot of different nuances. I mean, don't get me wrong, from politics, and we're dealing with murder victims versus a crappy politician. You know, there's a lot more stuff that goes into it. But for the process of it, you know, analyzing and figuring out what you need is pretty much the same. So I don't think it's law enforcement. Like, we get Amber Alerts, right? We all, I mean, we got an Amber. I got an Amber Alert for this this child. You know, everybody got an Amber Alert in the community. This went further than the community because of the type of Amber Alert this is. This is one that has a child, they have a suspect, they have a vehicle. These are all the check marks to get them on the national, you know, Amber Alert system. So they had all the checks in the right spots to get this. So and not only that, but I picked up this case because of the press releases. So I don't know if I agree that it's police that's not telling, you know, the media. Like, we all get the same press releases. Why isn't the media? Why does law enforcement need to say, "Hey, media, we have a black kid over here missing"? Why? What? You see what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me.
But nobody's talking about this child being black but you. Like, you're literally the only person talking about this kid being black. Nobody else gives a fuck about that. They just know she's missing and they want to find her.
Now, if law enforcement is sending all this stuff out and mainstream media is choosing not to pick it up, now that's a whole different story, and that could be what's going on. But we're all getting the same press releases, so let's not start pointing the finger at law enforcement and saying they're not doing their job and not notifying us of these things. They are.
But
let's be honest.
The thing is this person is not even talking. Okay, I agree that this fucking person that she's playing here on her stream is a fucking jackass. She's a complete and utter idiot. But the fact is, she's not even talking about the Winter case. She's not even discussing that. She's just talking about this completely other. I mean, this is all stemming from the Gabby Petito thing. She's not even talking about this case. There's plenty of people talking about Winter Cole Smith. Everyone is talking about it.
Let's be honest, they are. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about Winter Smith right now if it wasn't for law enforcement putting this out. And as a matter of fact,
that's what happens when you put out a fucking Amber Alert. Genius. It's what happens with every case. Doesn't matter the ethnicity of the child. Dude, you know how many cases? I got burden of proof in my chat right now. You know how many cases burden of proof covers? Like, you have any fucking idea? I mean, I wish she had a larger audience because she's an excellent true crime creator. She's extremely efficient and fact-driven. And but she's just one of so many other creators that cover all kinds of different missing persons cases, whether people are talking about them or not. It doesn't matter if people are talking about them. The idea is to get people talking about it. The idea is to use your platform to get people talking about it, not sit here and, like, this whole stream could be just putting out information about this poor missing little girl. The whole stream could be, but her whole stream is actually about this little girl being black. That's all this stream is about. Nothing else.
for Kathleen Moore for that fact. I wouldn't have learned about that case if it wasn't for a press release. Now, granted, mainstream media made the conscious effort not to pick up the case, right? They made the conscious effort, but the fact that we knew about the case, a few of us chose to pick it up. A few of us chose to go out there and search for her in the woods. Few of us, and quite frankly, that was pay dirt for us because we didn't physically locate her body. It was too far away from us. But and there was swampy. We were in shorts and tennis shoes. We didn't even have. I didn't even have wading gear at the time. I couldn't even go through the swamp to get to where Kathleen Moore's body was. But we knew exactly where. We literally pointed where it was. And 2 days later they recovered her.
You suck.
They recovered her. We thought she was stabbed and everything because we found like a cleaver handle out there and everything. She ended up being shot. It was just a crazy case. But this idea that we didn't know about it, that law enforcement somehow didn't inform us about Kathleen Moore, that's not true. They informed us. We knew about it. We picked up the case. Mainstream media chose not to. So who's the problem? Is it our audience? Is it mainstream media? Is it content creators? Is it YouTubers and TikTokers?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
But there is an issue. I've experienced myself. So, it's hard for me. This is a hard pill for me to swallow because, I believe we are in 2023 and this kind of stuff should not be happening. That's just my opinion. It should not be happening. So and I know it is because Kathleen Moore was only 2 years ago.
Is implicit bias on both the part of police and journalists. Both of those fields are staffed by mostly white people.
Trace the signal.
So that was kind of it. And, in all fairness, but one thing she didn't say in this, the one thing she didn't say in this is, we have to also look at the makeup. When you have, say, for example, I'm not saying that these numbers are accurate. Don't be held up on the numbers, but just bear with me on trying to explain it. Say we have 75% of white people in the United States, and only 25% of those people and the other 25% are a makeup of all the other ethnicities. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if that's the makeup. It could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, but let's just go with 75-25 just for all intents and purposes for our audience here. So if our whole entire country is 75% white people, you can reasonably expect that 75% of positions across the entire United States will be filled with white people. And only 25% of those positions will be filled with other people. So I think I think the info will be equal. So if our whole, it could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, but the other 25%.
I have to really listen to this because this shit is blowing my fucking mind. Like, I can't.
Are makeup of all the other ethnicities. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if that's the makeup. It could be 50-50, it could be 60-40, but let's just go with 75-25 just for all intents and purposes for our audience here. So if our whole entire country is 75% white people, you can reasonably expect that 75% of positions across the entire United States will be filled with white people. And only 25% of those positions will be filled with other people. So I think I think the information needs to be in context, because I don't like this whole white and black fighting and but do I believe that there's a problem? I know that there's a problem. I've experienced the problem. We as an audience, we as the public need ourselves. We need to hold our mainstream media accountable.
Okie Crab News with Teresa. It's good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you so much. You're right. She is out of control. What's wrong with her? Dude. So I just Googled it because I don't fucking know. But This is as of 2021. White Americans are the racial majority, with non-Hispanic whites representing 59.3% of the population, not 75. Let's see what her point is.
To providing us information on all cases, not just certain cases, and let other cases go, right? We as an audience need to be holding our news organizations accountable for their actions, and for stuff like this. If they are tipping the scale on what cases they're going to cover based on the color of their skin, we need to hold them accountable and be writing our personal and our local news outlets letters and saying, we don't like this. We don't like.
Fuck me, dude. Seriously. Okay, so this is where I'm at in my mind right now. So what she's claiming is she thinks that since white people are the majority, right? Since white people are the majority, she wants to lead a crusade to get all white people in America to start writing people to to demand that there's more coverage of racial diversity in true crime media coverage. So if all of us white people who follow true crime write letters, but here's the thing, she's doing this just for clout, because we know Betty's a fucking racist. Like, I mean, it's totally fair to say. I wish she would try to sue me for slander. I wish she would, because I can straight up tell you that I have seen enough evidence to dictate that Betty, or come to the conclusion that Betty is absolutely a racist, a bigot. No doubt about it. We've all seen overwhelming evidence of it. And here she is up here trying to lead some sort of crusade. And this is why it bothers me, because it's dangerous. Because let's just say she gets enough people. You know what I mean? Let's just say she gets enough people, and enough people to make some sort of splash in the public eye. Because we know that she's capable of doing it to a very small level. She's capable at least enough to get local news coverage. She's done this. She'll do anything that she can to jump herself in front of a camera. So imagine that she somehow gets in a public position to where she gets to say, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. And she's using her best Karen voice to talk about how important it is that white people demand that there's more coverage of racial diversity in true crime. But then people start looking into her. What she's going to do is set that movement back. Because people aren't stupid. Well, they can be. But people generally, when it comes to something like that, they're not fucking blind. You know what I mean? They're not blind. People can see. All you got to do is look at her behavior, look at the way she words things, look at her past. She doesn't even realize that she can't cover up her bigotry. She can't tell. She doesn't even realize that this stream in itself is an act of bigotry. Because she is literally the only person talking about this case that has brought up the fact that she is black. And with Betty's history, that's the worst person to bring up the fact that this little girl is black. It's the worst person. I can't think of a worse person on YouTube. I mean,
the way that this is starting to turn out. We're noticing you're putting a lot of emphasis on these cases, but none on these cases. And we want these cases solved. But us as audience members of those need to be vocal. We need to speak up and stand up and say we are done with this, issue. Every case matters. Every human being matters. At the end of the day, our rules here in this country is we want to preserve life. We don't want to take life. We want to preserve it. And any way that we can help preserve it, that's what
as long as you're not kids being shitty kids, which happens from time to time, because then, according to Betty, there's nothing wrong with euthanizing them. So, yeah, we need to preserve life, folks. Very, very important. We need to preserve life, not take it away. But, if a kid's a bad seed, euthanize them. All right.
What we need to do, and we need to hold our law enforcement and our mainstream media accountable to that. And when they do this, and like I said, I prayed over whether I was going to play that clip, and I it's hard for me to withhold that clip from my audience, especially in light of the fact that I've experienced the very things that she was expressing there. It would be horrible for me to not express my concerns with that. It would be, to me, malpractice, right? It would be malpractice to my peeps.
What?
If I gave you wrong information. That's not what the whole issue is with this. So we are going to definitely go down Winter Smith's case. So be on the lookout for her case. I'm just going to take a few minutes to open up the phone lines to see if anybody has any discussion related to Winter's case. If you have any information, if you would just like to say some things about Winter, or a moment of silence. I don't want to do a moment of silence for her, because I'm really hopeful that he did something stupid like, take this child over to his girlfriend's house or his ex. You know what I'm
You could still do a moment of silence, bro. Why does she have to be dead for you to do a moment of silence for this kid? Let me tell you something, man. It happened. Like I was covering this one case, and along with a couple of other people, and I won't mention them right now because this is not about that. But there was a case, and this little baby infant girl and her mom went missing, and the cops raided a house that was in relation to the case, and we were all like, oh my God, and I was on panel with another creator and another creator, and this other creator led a prayer, and really held out hope. And I believe, call me sentimental, call me whatever, but I believe that prayer worked, because this is what happened. Tragically, the mom was murdered. Her name was Heidi Broussard. But the little baby, Margot, lived, because the point was that the idea was to kill the mom and kidnap the baby. But we were so worried about the worst thing happening to that baby. But even though tragically Heidi was murdered, at least baby Margot survived, and she's with her dad. So I believe that there was power in that. So why does a kid have to be dead for you to have a moment of silence? You know what I mean? It just shows her nature,
You know what I'm saying? Like, he hid this child. He never hurt her, his grandmother said, they've seen a lot of miracles happen. They're praying for a miracle. They're praying for this child to come back home safely. The grandmother she's she's praying to God that this is not going to be her reality, and I'm praying right along with her. So I don't want to have a moment of
You
silence
need
right now.
to
I
shut
just wanna
the
have,
fuck up.
You know, a prayer vigil right now. We all need to say prayers, but I'm not prepared for it right now. I just feel like when we do that, it kind of solidifies things, and I'm not ready to solidify this for her, for Winter Smith just yet. I in my gut feel like this isn't going to turn out well, and it breaks my heart. But sorry guys, I'm getting a little choked up here when I talk about this little girl. I'm hopeful, but I just feel like if we do anything more than we're doing, I feel like it becomes real at that point, you know, that like right now it's just a thought. Like we've done this a long enough time, we've been around the block long enough that we kind of know how this is going to end, and it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but for me, I'm just still trying to maintain hope and just pray to God that this guy is not this much of an animal. I mean, right now, that's really what I'm praying for, is that this man is not that. I mean, he's an animal, but I'm praying to God he's not that type of animal, you know? So I'm going to go.
What do you mean? Listen, dummy. He already raped the mom. We already know what kind of animal this guy is. Don't sit here and act like, I hope he's not that kind of. He is that kind of animal.
I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines just for a few minutes, just to see if anybody has anything that they would like to say about, you know, Winter Smith. And we're not going to be on the phone very long with her. We're just going to take probably about 15 or 20 if you guys call in. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue to move forward. We still have a whole second session of content that we're going to go over.
Where do you get these fucking idiots, huh? Where do you get them?
And Rudy's case, and then we're going to dovetail into the Brian Kohberger case and get you guys updated on that. As you know, I've been spending an extra amount of time on the Kohberger case, going through everything.
Oh, that must be exhausting.
Home, and we've got a lot here. We really do. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm, you know, this is a big package of paperwork. But I got a lot of stuff here that we are going to be discussing.
Shut up! Oh my God, I don't care.
Over here. This is Betty.
Hey, my friend. How are you today at Southern Grammy?
Oh, Southern Grammy. How are you, love?
I am good. I am good. Praying for this little girl and her family.
Yes.
So heartbreaking.
It sure does have a lot of the hallmarks of that Passion Jeffries case in St. Pete.
Absolutely. I mean, ladies, we've got to watch who we bring around. I mean, I have an adult son now, but I have grandbabies and great nieces and about to have a great nephew. And I really don't even date anymore, because how do you bring people around your babies anymore?
It's wonderful.
And along that line, so last week we were all celebrating. My son was under contract to buy his first home, and then he told me Saturday that they had to back out because they found out that the guy next door had been convicted of child R.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's got 3 little girls. So they're waiting today to kind of see, like, if they're even going to recover any of their earnest money, which they probably won't. But he's just devastated because, he works really hard, and he's basically now lost a chunk of money, but his girls are safe. So,
well, hopefully if he's in his window, like there's like an inspection period, typically in that inspection period, they can't withhold your earnest money. So hopefully if he's still in that inspection period area, he can get 100% of his earnest money back.
We're mean, they had already done the inspections last Tuesday, and he's going VA, so I know they've got a little more catches with that, but we'll see how that goes today. But, you know, I kind of wanted to throw that out there too, because not only do we have who is coming around our kids, but we need to know who is around our kids.
Yeah.
Because even though this conviction was a while back, you know, you never know.
You never want, listen, it's like this. You know, people that are millionaires, they don't go and take their entire savings to Las Vegas, you know, and your children are your, you know, it's your most valuable resource you have. And if you're not going to take your money to Vegas and just piss it away on a, you know, craps, why would you put your children in a, you know, a gambling position when you know that somebody could harm them? You would never gamble with your children.
Absolutely, and I couldn't be more, you know, proud of them. You know, we all had his back. We're like, no way, you know, we'll keep looking, we'll figure it out, you know. And I know he was very disappointed. They really liked the house, but you know, his wife said, hey,
thank you, Echo.
And so, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, here in this case, you know, we're reminded, unfortunately, daily that, you know, we have to be aware. And I think my reason for bringing that up is that's also something, you know, I don't know why we didn't think to Google or whatever sooner. I'm glad he did before they moved in. The people who owned the house before had girls. So I was like, oh, maybe they didn't know. So, I mean, we don't know. But just to kind of put it out there, I mean, these are things we have to look at. I mean, if it means running background checks on who you're dating or, you know, before you bring people around your kids, I know that's not 100%, but I mean, it's better than later on going, oh, I wish I would have thought about checking this person out. You know, once you're in this mom's position. So
right. And also for my audience out there, this is something I picked up, you know, I did for my clients when I was selling real estate is I did do crime reports in neighborhoods and communities, especially with families that had children. And there's this resource called crimemapping.com, and it's kind of a neighborhood thing. You kind of plug in your neighborhood and it'll give you all the crimes and it'll show you the RSOs that are living nearby. So for all the parents out there, crimemapping.com.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm going to pass that on to them.
So how did you like that?
Loved it. I want to ride that horse again sometime. Ooh, yeah.
That's relatively safe, but I mean, you just never know who's next door.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it's really hard, like even with background companies, like I use a service to do background checks to find social, you know, just it's a background checking type of system. And they don't even like, even when you do property, like you can put in an address and do a search of just a specific residence to find out who's lived there, you know, but it's really hard when you have tenants. You can't find all that historic information unless you're aware. Whenever you have a tenant, say a tenant's an RSO, sometimes that's not even going to come up on your crime mapping because it doesn't know that they even exist or even are in the neighborhood. So you have to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. Well, he can't outsmart me because I'm a moron.
I mean, and I know, like, even though our neighborhood is a really nice subdivision of houses, there's a lot of renters there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, but you take every step you can to protect your kids, you know, and nothing's going to be foolproof, but
nothing's 100%, folks. No perfection.
But you do, you know, the best you can.
I'm retarded.
You know, it's just sad. We're seeing this stuff more and more and more, and you know, these people, you know, that do things and then think that they can hide it and get away with it. You know, I 100% kind of believe that that's kind of the Summer case, that something happened and then they panicked and they've just been trying to cover their
No
tracks.
offense, but you are a stupid
But,
asshole.
you know, there's so many things. And like this girl that, you know, threw the baby in the garbage, like, did she not think that anyone was going to find it? But she really thought she could just walk away like nothing happened. And I think so much with, you know, there not being accountability. We're not coming down hard enough on these repeat offenders. We're not coming down hard enough on them when they do it the first time. You know, there's too many people that are under the impression
You
that
big
they
dummy.
can get away with it.
Yeah.
They can just walk away. And
I think it has a lot to do though with the whole, like, our kids these days are living in fantasy worlds. The movies that they're making is all fantasy related. These people are in the Dungeons and Dragons type of realm. They're not in reality. And then they
Oh my God, bro. Like, what did you do? Like, did you fucking time travel? Did you fucking Karen time travel from 1984? What are you talking about? Dungeons and Dragons. They're living in a fantasy Dungeons and Dragons world. Like, how are you like not only are you a Karen, you're like the most dated Karen on the planet. How do you do this? This is fucking fascinating.
and they have all these things that they're required to be violent in their ultra reality state, you know.
Really?
And then they think, to me, I think that they think that they're going to get away with it because they got away with it on this game. I mean, it's just I don't know what to think of all of this. I just think that we're doing a disservice to our children.
Why didn't anybody think of that?
Children, we're making our country more violent, and we have to take responsibility for that. We're doing this to ourselves. Nobody else is doing this to us.
oh, absolutely. And parents, you know, we've got parents these days that are so in denial about, you know, their kids that, you know, the answer to everything now is, oh, well, but they're depressed. And, you know, and I'm not saying that there's not depression and anxiety, but I just feel like now it's like every generation there's a new go-to for, and we're just, you know, putting pills on top of pills. And, you know, it's like everybody knows, like, oh, I've got this and I take this. And, you know, I remember back in the day, we went outside and, you know, had other ways to handle things besides just sitting and, you know, watching, you know, some of the stuff that they do now.
Dude, her facial expressions are
And,
killing me
you know,
right
it
now.
desensitizes these kids to kind of think it's almost like they're just like, oh, well, and it's really sad. And I just, you know, I think that if we don't teach them more accountability, oh, sorry, I just hit a 4-inch spot. Woo! I think we just will never be able.
Bro, like, she's like smiling, but you could see the hate in her eyes, bro. Just look at that shit. She looks straight out like from that movie Smile, bro. Shit is fucking scary, bro. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean?
Somehow thought kids and adults that they're going to be accountable and not just slap on the wrist.
Yeah. But I really do believe we've went backwards instead of forward. I mean, you know, we had more family units, more people that knew how to be family and took care of their family and worked and everything. You know, we had a functioning country, you know, not perfect, but a functioning country, you know, many decades ago. And now we've got, you know, kids being disrespectful, parents killing kids, kids killing parents. You've got, I mean, it's just, it saddens me that we all just can't find a way to get along. And, you know, I really think our schools need to be teaching our children how to deal with rejection. A lot of this stuff that I'm seeing going on in our country is people that can't handle rejection.
Dude, the schools need to teach the kids to deal with arithmetic and reading and history, correct history. Like, no, that's a parent's job. A parent's job is to teach a kid to deal with rejection. Why the fuck would I know? Like, dude, when it was me and my son, if he came home from school and was like, oh man, yeah, I got written up today. Well, why'd you get written up? I was late to rejection class. What? Rejection class? What is that? That would have been my response. Rejection class? What is that? What? They're taking money out of my check for this? Are you kidding?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the whole give everybody a trophy generation.
Yep. Everything has its unintended consequences, you know.
They're having
want to try to fix something that isn't.
They're having two totally different conversations.
Broken because they feel bad their child can't run from one base to another. Well, listen, no offense, but maybe sports isn't for your child. You know, you need to have, just because daddy's a sports buff doesn't mean his son's going to be. And I think that's where, you know, they don't want their children feeling left out. They don't want them coming home crying because it breaks their heart. Well, listen, these are valuable life lessons they have to have that you're removing from their life.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, the thing is like, my mom put me in everything
for
under the
sure.
sun when I was growing up. Look, I did competitive ice skating. I did everything you could think of. The thing is I wanted to play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom wasn't going to have her daughter out there beating up the boys. So I ended up doing figure skating.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
I was not built for a figure skater.
Right.
I've always been tall and, you know, but the thing is she put me in stuff, and if I wasn't great at it, we moved on. She just wanted me to have the experience of trying whatever I wanted to try and giving it a go, and you know, and that's okay. The difference is when we try.
Where do you get these fucking idiots, huh?
You know,
Where do you get them?
Kids, oh, but you're the greatest. Oh, it's their fault.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It wasn't the coach's fault that I wasn't a starter. And that's because I'm clumsy as all get up. I can't tell you how many times I've broken bones. I trip over my own 2 feet. I'm not a good runner. I mean, that's just reality. And my mom was like, dust yourself off, you know, go on to something else. I love cheerleading. I wasn't a tumbler. I was, you know, I was tall. I was a bigger girl in school. I did it, but the reality was I was never going to be, you know, I was never going to be the type that goes to college and can do all that stuff, you know. And that was okay. I loved it, but, you know, I wasn't the greatest at it. I didn't expect to win awards.
Right. I remember trying out for color guard, and I never made it to color guard. And I remember coming home and I was completely devastated. I was crying, and I'm like, I didn't get through. You know, my dad didn't coddle me. My mom didn't coddle me. You know what they said? They said you should have worked harder.
Practice. Keep trying.
Right. You should have worked harder. If you worked harder, you would have made it. And if you weren't willing to put in the effort, then that's on you. They didn't say, oh, well, that's stinking school. They didn't go down there and say I needed an award, to make me feel better. We don't do that, in when we were in Little League, not everybody got rewards. By the time my sister was in her little cheer camp stuff, everybody got an award. When we were growing up, nobody, you know what? And guess what? We know how to deal with rejection. I'm not good at it. I got to be honest with you. I'm not good at rejection, but I can deal with it. I'm not going to go shoot up a Walmart because some guy dumped me.
Hey, I mean, and let's face it, back in our day, we did. We came home, we cried it off, we went back out, we ran around with our friends.
Oh, don't stop it. You know darn well we made the love tapes. You remember those where we listened to every single song and we recorded it, and then we went back and listened to those sappy songs and cried for hours. Come on, you're missing the most important part.
And don't forget the ice cream.
And the ice cream. The
well,
sappy songs and the ice cream.
Me and my friends headed to the mall. I mean, we were all about the retail therapy. So, but you went on and you had two choices. You either worked at it, you practiced, you got better, or you moved on to something
you were better at. Sorry, a spelling bee champion should not be in baseball. I'm sorry. There's just something desperately wrong with that. I'm sorry. Shoot me. I know I'm going to get attacked because of that statement, but I'm sorry. A spelling bee champ should not be a basketball star. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, and hey, look, my son, he was a skinny kid. He was tall and skinny like my dad. He didn't get it, but he was tall and
Shut up!
And when we moved to Tennessee from California, he went to play Pee Wee football for the first time. And when you're 9 going into this Pee Wee thing, you have to meet a weight requirement.
Yeah,
but after that, you don't. Well, my son was 11 and didn't meet the weight that they require for 9-year-olds. Okay, they have.
Shut up! Oh my God, I don't care.
Because when he would lean down, it would be falling off his head, and they had it strapped as tight as they could. Like they had to cater it to him. But let me tell you what happened. He was not the most talented player. I'll be the first to say it. He tried Little League, and he wasn't the best at baseball.
Hopefully your son's not watching the Bullhorn Betty channel.
No, I mean, and he knows what he knows. He'll giggle off because he had parents because he played a couple years, and then he played a little bit in middle school, but they loved him. Mm-hmm. These parents would stop me places, and they all just adored my son. And you know why? Because he had heart. They would put the biggest kids. They would put these 200-pound kids in front of my son, and I'd be terrified. He would laugh at him, and when they'd hit him, and he'd go, stand up and be like, "Is that all you got? You can't hit me harder than that." Like, he didn't care. Yeah. He had the biggest heart, and you know what? He wasn't the best. He wasn't, he wasn't going to get a scholarship. He wasn't going to go in the NFL. He wanted to get out there and play. He just had a heart for it.
Yeah. That's the way I am with softball. Like, I love softball, but I suck. Okay,
God, bro.
Good. Like, I grab her up, scoop her up, and even hurt her. This is so upsetting. If I didn't have all the stuff going on this week and next week, I would have gotten in my car and went up to Lansing, Michigan this morning. I would have started driving.
Trace the signal.
That's how angry I am.
For sure, and I wish that I had a different.
It's the same lady.
The flexibility to be right on out there with you, but unfortunately,
right.
I'm a
gay.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I'm lucky. I'm a single income, but if I don't put food in my mouth, the only person starving is me. I don't have to worry about children, a husband, a dog, a cat, nothing. If I go without food, it's me. It's not my family. So it's people. I have an ability to I have an opportunity to be able to do something like this, and of course I'm doing it. So But I appreciate all the people like you that helped me along the way, and God bless you for that. Oh, sounds like it's time to check the docket.
Oh, for sure. But I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right.
You know I gotta do it,
Take
y'all.
care. God bless.
You know
Have a
I
great
gotta
day.
do it.
Bye.
You know I gotta do it.
Sounds like it's time to check the docket.
Oh, for
check the docket. Sounds like it's time to 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 check the docket.
Oh, for sure. But I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Southern Grammy. Take
Jesus
care.
Christ.
God bless. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Oh my God. All right. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open my phone line. So if anybody wants to call in, they can. Yeah, like they were having completely different conversations. It was the strangest thing in the world. Check the docket. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, it's Amy again. I just can't get over her, you know? It's like I just don't get it. You know, she's supposedly so conservative, and I'm so like I don't like all these people, the liberals, all these, you know, kind of women that say that they want to help all the black people and they're limousine liberals. So guess what? She's acting like that one herself.
Well,
You know what I mean?
why, though? I haven't mentioned it this entire stream, but you know why this is what this is, what's driving this, right?
It's rebranding.
No, it's the lawsuit.
You don't think so?
She's suing people. She's suing people for calling her a racist.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay.
Right.
Now,
So this is all.
yeah.
This is all just some sort of fucking smoke and mirror, some sort of show to add to her case, to win favor, and it's just not going to work because.
Well, she doesn't win favor with me because, like, she doesn't like anybody that's not Christian, that doesn't have that specific makeup, you know, like.
But she's not Christian.
But she is.
She's
she doesn't.
She claims to be, but there's nothing that she does that's Christ-like. See, that's a Christian to me.
Unbelievable. You know, like I've been trying to get people. Like she wouldn't even cover a case. You know, she's so concerned with kids getting kidnapped and everything. You know, there's this. You probably haven't heard of it, but there's this case out of Ohio. It's not really a case of a kid, but it would be something that you could. I don't know. You would watch the video and maybe do a reaction to it, but it's by this channel called EWU, Explore With Us. And it's about a school that had an open house in the beginning of the term, the 22-23 term. And I think I tweeted it to you. I don't know if you probably didn't get a chance to look at it, but it's about a guy that was caught for impersonating a parent, and he had plans to kidnap a kid, and he had researched the whole school. And it was out of Xenia, Ohio, but it shows what happened and how they caught him. And it's just, these are cases that she should be covering. You know, if she's so concerned with missing kids and things to do to prevent it, that's something that she could have been covering and talking about and teaching parents about safety. There's so many things that she's not even doing. It's a stream about herself and not anybody else.
Right.
To be quite honest
Her
with you.
entire effort, like if you notice her pattern of behavior, she's always trying to get herself in a situation where she gets in front of a TV news camera. That's what
Of
she's
course.
constantly doing, because she wants to be known as this person who's, I'm Betty, I'm here and I'm loud and you're going to have to deal with me whether you like it or not, kind of thing. I mean,
That's
anyone
true.
can do that. You know what I mean? That's not what
Right.
what gets things done. Anyone can do that. People don't do it because it's being a fucking pain in the ass. It's being counterproductive to society.
But you know, with that Moore case, Catherine or Kathleen Moore case in Florida, she's taking credit for, I think, was it News Nation or WFLA? She's taking credit for them finally covering it, because she's saying it's because me and Olivia and this other one were out there. She's taking responsibility, like what she said when she said that she helped make Brian Enton famous. You know, that kind of crap. Delusional.
I mean,
It's
nobody
like,
buys
are you
that
out
shit,
of your
though, you know
mind,
what I mean?
lady?
Yeah, nobody buys that shit. And like, she's the only one who buys it. Like, her audience doesn't even buy it. You know?
Well,
Like,
it's just crazy. And all I can say is that I'll tell you something funny. My when I used to watch her, my daughter couldn't stand her. Did I tell you? My daughter used to prank phone call her.
she used to do what?
My daughter used to prank phone call her. She couldn't stand her, you know, because it's like, my daughter's so smart and she saw right through her.
Yeah, I mean, like,
she
that's the
deserves
thing.
troll. She deserves to be trolled big time over that. This whole thing with the racist. And the last thing I have to say is that, you know, when there was a 60 Minutes interview with Morgan Freeman, and he said, "What do you have to do about racism?" He said, "Stop talking about it."
Yeah.
That was his answer.
Right. I mean,
You know,
there's so much. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of virtue signaling and things like that. And it's like, you know, and I think it's just the way times are. And I don't think it's going to, human nature does not allow for, it's just never happened in history. Like, once it gets to a point to where people are generally feel like they're being controlled in some way, they push back. You know what I mean? So
oh yeah,
this is just a phase in our society right now, in my opinion. It's just something we're going to move past. Like, it's just going to get, I think it's a means to an evolution in the way that we all think. Because I think eventually it's just going to be the norm to just, hopefully anyway, to just be like, well, you know, just don't be a racist shitbag. And, you know, don't accuse people either of being racist when they're not, simply because they don't jump on whatever bandwagon that you're on right now.
That's true. I think that's true. Absolutely.
I mean, it's okay to not be passionate about a certain issue. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people aren't interested in missing persons cases. You know what I mean? It's okay for that not to interest you. That's not a problem. You know what I mean? So eventually people generally are just going to get sick of people telling them what they have to be interested and passionate about. And it's just going to, you know, it's just going to go back the other way.
There's a lot of pushback there. Yeah. It's starting.
It's already happening. Right.
Years, you know?
Right. It's already happening.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Take care.
Thanks for calling,
Bye.
Amy. What big fat bruise? I don't know of a big fat bruise. I mean, yeah, you know, I don't even know. Yeah, the line's still open. I could still take calls if anybody wants. Um, I can't I just can never wrap my head around like the delusion that drives Betty. It's very fascinating. I just can never wrap my head around it. Yeah, I'll be going over the Sarah Boone trial. I'll definitely be going over the Sarah Boone trial. A couple of trials coming up. And I want to start making more pre-recorded videos. Whose community post last night? Oh yeah. Oh, the hair. What I saw were some comments that those made me laugh. Uh what I saw were the comments. I mean, you know, they're just like, man, stop fucking, like, her people were like, stop frying your fucking hair, man. Like, oh my God. Like they're trying to tell her. It's like, it's crazy. They're trying to tell her. Like, it's right here. Look, look. Right here. I'm so glad I don't have to color my hair anymore. Let it grow out naturally, Betty. You could add lower highlights and not have to worry about demarcation lines. My hair is so beautiful now. Like, they're trying to encourage her to like knock that shit off, dude. Like it's getting real bad. I mean, look, I'm never gonna fault somebody for, you know, and I realize it's gonna, like, you know, annoy some people, but like you know, I don't want to fault somebody for trying to, you know, self-improve, you know, even if it's just to that level. You know, everybody deserves to feel good about themselves, you know what I mean? So like, that's what she did to feel good about herself. That's fine, but it's just like, at what cost? You know what I mean? Like, at what cost? Because I mean, to me, it's self-improvement. It's doing what she wants for now to feel good about herself. But the problem with that is, like, it's like somebody, to me, it's the equivalent, like with her hair, it's the equivalent. What she's doing to her hair is the equivalent of what somebody would do with their body if they have an eating disorder. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to look good and they're trying to feel good about themselves. So they fucking binge and purge, and they fucking, you know, they inhale a shit ton of food and then they go blow lunch, you know, to keep their body, their figure, you know, and then they become addicted to it. You know what I mean? And it's at the cost of your fucking body, you know? It's really bad for you to do that. And like, she's doing the same thing to her hair, you know? Like, the more she does that, you know, the more like, it's just gonna get to a point where she's gonna fall the fuck out. It's like, Laura Lee, you know, you're right. You're right. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy that somebody could have such an ugly personality that it comes out in their appearance, when physically, like, if they had a nice personality, you know, people would be attracted to her. She would be attractive, you know, to some degree. I mean, I guess. But it's she's so fucking mean-spirited, and it's so enrooted in her soul. Like, it's crazy. Like, I picture this anger that she has, this mean disposition that she has, and I picture it like a barbed wire just fucking wrapping her soul, you know? And like, how do you get rid of that? You know what I mean? How do you fix that? Because it's fixable, but it's like it's so embedded in there that how do you fix that? I mean, completely and totally. Like, she's sitting here and she uses this live stream that we just went over as some sort of, she uses this live stream as some sort of, you know, campaign for her advocacy. And no, Maria, I believe you can. You know, call me an idealist, call me naive. That's fine, but I believe you can. I believe that somebody can absolutely hit bottom and then be like, this is what I got to do if I want to like have a better life. You know, like, it's on me. I believe that there is everybody has that point in their life, you know, and I hope, man, you know, and I don't want anything bad to happen to her, but maybe just bad enough to where, you know, she doesn't get hurt, but learns this is the only way to go, you know, like maybe get arrested for the kind of shit that she does. You know what I mean? Maybe that'll wake her up and actually get charged and convicted. Like, because look at stuff like this lawsuit, right? She's suing Queen and suing Heels, and like all of it can be disproven. Like, all of it can be disproven, almost all of it. Like, we went over the lawsuit she filed, and all they have to do is dispute it properly, present the right evidence. They could probably even countersue, because it's bullshit. And the court doesn't like their time being wasted. Yeah, like, I don't wish nothing bad on her, but if something bad did happen to her based on her own actions, I'd be like, well, there you go. You know, look, I tried to tell you, you know, but because I'd rather she just fucking swallow her pride, realize that the approach that she's gone on everything on YouTube has been the wrong approach, and that everything that has taken place as far as how she feels victimized on YouTube, as far as people talking about her, as far as people making memes about her. I mean, this is all stuff as a result of her own behavior on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I don't say nothing that's not true, you know? It's just like, it's never gonna, it's as long as she's doing the things that she's doing, you know, with crime cases, somebody's gonna get hurt, you know? Same with JLR. Somebody's gonna end up getting hurt. Maybe not physically, but people have already gotten hurt. These people have already hurt people. These people have already cost a missing girl's parents their job and cost them privacy. Regardless of what you think, Bullhorn Betty, Molly Golightly, Chronicles of Olivia, Jonathan Lee Riches, all victimized Don and Candace, and JLR continues to do so. I mean, there's gotta be a limit to how much of that shit you can get away with. Pulling that kind of shit. And this is the funny thing about Betty, is I think Betty she's already learned her lesson more or less, but she won't take any accountability. She's not an accountable type of person. But we haven't seen her out there with a bullhorn in a long time. We haven't seen her out there living up to her name in a long time, have we? I mean, because I believe that she does have enough sense to know that if you keep that shit up, somebody's going to put you in handcuffs. And your luck of having charges dropped is going to run out. And it's due. It's due. After 40 some odd arrests, it's due. So, I mean, she has to know that her luck is running out when it comes to that. Because now all she does is talk about going out places. She just talks about it. And even the last couple of places that she went out to, no bullhorn. No bullhorn. Just Betty pretending to be a reporter, pretending to search, and complaining about the weather, complaining about stickers.
All right, so I'm out.
Let's go over this dickhead's bullshit real quick.
Afternoon, everyone. Happy 4th of July. Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. We are going to talk about the Summer Wells case. We're going to talk about the past history of Don and Candace Wells. We're going to talk about Don Wells, the prime suspect in the disappearance of his little girl, Summer Moon Utah Wells. Let's talk, because I got a lot of never seen before records. Never disclosed publicly records of Don and Candace Wells coming out of Arkansas. So we're going to talk. I'm going to share some of these records because they are shocking to the core. So disturbing beyond the pale. Frightening, terrifying. I'm in shock. My jaw, like when I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh. And this is just a piece of the puzzle.
Oh my gosh.
This is just a fraction of the part of their lives. From about 2006 all the way up to 2009.
Now, you see,
Fayetteville.
His fucking title here says Don Wells arrested in all caps for stealing women's panties in all caps. And Summer Wells case, like, that doesn't have anything to do with the case.
Fayetteville, Arkansas. Fayetteville, Arkansas. Washington County, Arkansas. We are going to talk. Come on in. Come on in. I'm going to share some records. Come on in, everyone, and share this video around. These people need to be talked about. They need to be exposed. This is a serious matter. Don Wells, the prime suspect in the disappearance of his own daughter. And I say that with confidence. I say that because a source has told me, a law enforcement source has told JLR that Don Wells is 100% under investigation for what he...
Everyone is under investigation, dickhead. Nobody has said that he is a prime suspect or Candace is a prime suspect.
He did to Summer Wells. I can't say, and I can honestly say, I can't say Candace Wells is 100% under investigation, though I will say that I believe Candace Wells has a hand in this, but at what type of role? You know, the cover up, just protecting who she loves, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But Don Wells, oof, Don Wells. Don Wells. I got my eye on Don Wells, and so does law enforcement. I can tell you, when we say that law enforcement is not doing their job and they haven't made an arrest with Summer Wells, I can tell you they are, it's tough. That case is tough right now. Numerous reasons. One, the remoteness of that area, Ben Hill Road, where Summer Wells was reported missing, that area, Hawkins County, Sullivan County, Greene County, all in that general area. Lack of surveillance. And then also digital evidence is tough because it's hard to get cell phone reception out there. But
okay, let's look into that, okay? I'm only seeing 5 hours ago, suspect arraigned, or Wintersmith's parents plead for Lansing toddler. I'm not seeing anything yet. Let me look on Twitter. I'm not seeing anything yet. Yeah, 4 hours old. It just says they're searching. Yeah, all of this is from like July 3rd. Let's look at this. Hold on, latest. Yeah, the latest I'm seeing is not much at all. Yeah, I'm not seeing an update, Chronicles. Well, you have a you have a wrench. Drop the link. Oh, okay. See? All right. We'll do this. Okay. Thank you, Chronicles. Thank you, Deets. All right, so body believed to be missing 2-year-old Winter Smith found on Detroit's east side. A body believed to be missing 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith has been found on the city's east side Wednesday, according to Fox 2 sources. The location is near Noddle and Irwin Streets, east of Van Dyke and north of Harper. Smith has been missing since early morning hours of July 3rd when an Amber Alert was issued following the sexual assault and home invasion of her mother in Lansing. The suspect, Rashad Schreiss, 26, was arraigned on Wednesday and several charges, including criminal sexual misconduct, home invasion, unlawful imprisonment, and domestic violence, among other charges. When Trice was arrested, Smith was not with him. Yeah, I was afraid of this. Yeah, we're going to be following this asshole's trial too if he pleads not guilty. I mean, look at that little girl, man. Look how adorable. That's a shame. She has an incredibly bright smile. Yeah. This guy is the worst of the worst, man. Like when you think about it, this guy is the worst of the worst. He's as bad as they get. Moon Rain. No. I don't think I'm going to start a new live. I'll probably do another live when there's Patricia Sell, member for 8 months. Thank you. Glare, a message in chat. Winter. Yes, I saw. Thank you so much, Patricia Sell. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll maybe I'll make a video of it, or just wait till they add more charges, and then once we know what those charges exactly are, we'll we'll go over the entire thing. But I'll probably make a video because I've been looking for something to make a video about, and I need to get good at making videos. And this case definitely merits a video. So I will look into this and hopefully I don't give up in trying to do so. But regardless, we will be going over it. Yeah, I mean, the way it sounds is like with what we know, which is actually quite a bit, but with what we know more or less, I think it's probably safe to assume that the motive was to hurt the mom. Yeah, I think the motive was just to hurt the mom. And I hope to God that her name does not get released, at least not anytime soon. Like this mom right now, these hours right now, folks, this present time and hours surrounding this present very moment is the worst time of this woman's life. The worst time, the worst thing, the worst feeling that any woman can ever go through is what she's going through this instant. And she deserves as peaceful that can experience that experience can be. She deserves that. So I have no interest in finding out what her name is. It does me no good. It does you no good to know who she is. It does me no good or you no good to know anything about her past, because whatever her past is has literally nothing to do with what happened to her. She is absolutely 100% a victim, because I can't think of anything that could merit going through what this woman is going through right now. I can't imagine any bad thing that she ever did, any bad decision she's ever made that would ever merit anything that even resembles what she has been through in the last couple of days, and how she's feeling right now at this very moment. So, if you have any decency, then you will leave this woman alone. If you hear her name, you will not spread it. So, yeah, very sad. I can't even imagine how this woman must feel right now. Like, literally the worst things that can happen to you while you're alive as a mother happened to this woman in the last 48 hours. Um, yeah, like I've never even had a nightmare that bad. I can honestly say that. I've never even had a nightmare that bad. Um, all right, well, folks, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I had fun. We haven't done a Betty stream in a minute. Very sad news, obviously, to end it, but like I said, I'll keep you guys updated. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of people keeping you updated on this as well. So just make sure. I mean, it's always good to get different perspectives. But for those of you who want me to talk about it, I will. Don't worry. And we'll cover, if there's a trial, we'll cover that too. So anyway, I love you guys a lot. I had a great time. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.